Welcome back. If you're looking to spruce up your fall and Halloween decor, then consider adding plants to the mix. Joining us now with easy tips is our friend Lance Roberson with PLance. Lance, good morning.
Always fun to be here.
I love that we're talking about seasonal stuff today. You basically want to give us an idea for some planters, maybe for your front steps or for centerpieces on the table, and things that go happily together, because I've made that mistake.
Sure.
Of putting two plants that actually did not want to play well together into a pot, and you told me that's a great lesson because you'll learn what will survive and what will not.
Really quick, one or the other will have some problems. So
Yep.
we're not only going to plant them together with what they like, but also try to keep with the fall. We're going into Halloween, so that's why I like buckets like these, little containers that the container is part of what you want, so you don't necessarily need stuff spilling down the side or to go too overboard. Two simple plants like this black potato vine is great.
Black potato vine.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, especially in the fall when you want those kind of darker, more dramatic colors. And then celosia coxcomb on these is my favorite. I think it looks like the brains flying out of the top of the pumpkin with these.
Yeah.
But they are really great, especially for the Halloween season. Neither of these are going to survive the freeze, which is part of the reason why I would say these are great for Halloween, because our freezes usually don't come till November. So you can have these out. They do great through the holiday. And then as we freeze, you can transition to the winter.
We'll make it into something new. Yes, I just want to make sure that I say this one more time. Celosia is the proper name for this, but I've always been told coxcomb.
Coxcomb is the curly hair. There is other celosia that's a little bit different. There's great fall colors in it, but this is the kind that we like because it looks like the brain.
Yeah, and if you go to any shop where you can purchase plants like this, and you say the brain-looking one, people will know what you're talking about.
We'll know.
All right, let's talk about crotons. We've got a nice little example up here in the front. I love crotons because not only have you told me they're easy to care for, but they get a fair amount of color into them.
They get a lot of color, and again, since it's fall, those oranges and reds, that's what we see outside when the leaves start changing color. So I love to bring these inside and give us a little bit of that coloration and a little bit of the pop inside. And it goes really well with a lot of the other floral stuff. It has kind of these skeletonized leaves, but they have these great colors that you just can't argue with.
Yeah, and as I said, pretty easy to take care of overall, right?
Just really easy to take care of.
They like light. And just a little bit of water.
The more shade they get, they're going to tend toward the green. The more light they get, they're going to tend a little bit more toward the reds and the oranges.
Wow.
But when you put them inside, it takes weeks or months for the leaves to transition. So usually if you put them indoors now, they're going to look great for the whole season.
Okay, fantastic. And then I asked if this was a croton because it looks so similar, but actually it's a totally different type of plant.
Yeah, we call it zebra plant. Again, it's another one of these striped leaves. I think they look so great with the fall. These actually have bright yellow flowers that come out. Some people call them the yellow shrimp plant. They look like little shrimps on stems when they fully grow. They really do last for years inside. So it's another reason why it's great. Same thing, you can see that I plant these in the pots, and you can see I just use a little bit of moss over the top of it, especially with interior containers. It's a lot easier to pull one out and transition into, say, winter. If you want to pull out something that's a little bit more green and yellow and put in your poinsettias, these are really great ways to do it. It's also making the watering a lot easier. You don't have to worry about ruining your table or making sure the plastic. You can pull them all out, water them, and then put them right back in.
And you don't have to pay for a really nice pot, just something something that will hold them all in.
Anything that holds dirt and then a little bit of cover, and they look really great.
Yeah, and I think Lance makes a really good point in that. Let's say this guy dies, you can just go buy another little zebra plant and stick it back in, cover it with the moss, and then all of a sudden people can't tell the difference.
Yeah, or as the holidays go, something like these kalanchos, these yellow flowers, they're going to flower
Gorgeous.
for something like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So you may have them still flowering and the other ones start to look sad, or you think, it's Christmas, I want something different. This makes it really easy to pop in and out. Any of the seasonal stuff, especially for interior, makes it way easy. And then, of course, if you've got the black thumb and you just kill something every now and again, it's also great that you don't have to be embarrassed that you've killed and have to redo a whole pot. You just go and get one new plant to put it in and you're back in business.
Very clever. Okay, I want to talk about the ornamental grasses because this is starting to have a dead-ish look, appropriate for the season, but you actually get a little creative with these ornamental grasses.
I love ornamental grasses. They all, to me, in the winter end up looking, like you said, kind of like a dead-looking grass. Mm-hmm. But what I like to do is use the same kind of grass paint that we would use outside when we're marking stuff. Spray them red, spray them silver, spray them whatever. It's not
I never thought I would hear the natural Lance Roberson of PLance say, go ahead and spray paint something?
Yeah, well, again, if you're doing the grass paint, this isn't going to be the foliage you have next spring. So
Okay.
you're going to cut it in January. It's going to flush back out for the spring. So you can make these nice colors. It works really well as the season transitions. It doesn't really need any water inside because it's going through this dormancy period. And then you can have a lot of color with it. You can pick your color scheme.
I think that's fun. I'm envisioning like paint it gold, get your poinsettias, all of a sudden you're ready for Christmas time. That would be a really cool setup.
Exactly, and the grass makes such a great texture when you have all those colors. It really can help other stuff stand out.
So when we talk about keeping these alive in our last minute here, for example, if someone were to say, okay, I'm going to do exactly what Lance said, I'm going to get these plants, including the coxcomb, what do we need to do for care to keep these happy?
You know, especially when we're talking about short-term stuff like this, stuff that we know it's the middle of October, it's going to last 30 days. Most of this, we've gotten to the point where it likes it very dry. It's not going to grow very much. It's kind of self-sustainable. Now, certainly, we've gone 60 days without rain. They're going to need a little bit of water through the course of time. But for the most part, if I were to put these out today, 10 days before Halloween, I'm not watering these much more than once before the holiday. So
Okay.
they're really easy to maintain. Again, you can hang them on the walls. You don't have to worry about getting everything wet all the time. They're a really great mix.
Okay, some really clever stuff today. And any suggestions that you want to make to the folks in our last 15 seconds or so about managing things during this time of the year when we have had so little rain?
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure we're watering some of the trees. Again, plants can't go 60, 90 days without rain. Otherwise, just keep an eye on stuff that's falling and dying and try to help those plants. You know, individual plants need individual attention.
Lance with plants. Of course, it makes so much sense. We appreciate your information as always. Thank you so much. All right, guys, for more information, visit plants.org.